This has to be the biggest military scam in modern history. Earlier this month, Donald Trump bombed Iran's nuclear sites, risking World War III and our country's safety to appease another country's government. But here's the thing, those strikes didn't work. A leaked classified intelligence report found that despite what Trump and his lackeys are telling the world, the military strike only set Iran's nuclear program back by a couple months, and that's only if Iran was trying to build a bomb in the first place, which according to US intelligence, they weren't. So let's review. We just risked global catastrophe to solve a problem that didn't exist using a solution that didn't work to benefit people who aren't American. So why did we do it? Because it makes the ruling class a ton of money. This is the military-industrial complex at work, and it's a scam we fall for over and over again. It's exactly what happens when war becomes a business model instead of a last resort. The leaked intelligence brief tells us everything we need to know about Washington's priorities. While Trump parades around claiming his strikes were a tremendous success and sent a strong message, the actual experts, the people whose job it is to know these things, are telling a completely different story. At best, these strikes delayed Iran's nuclear capabilities by a few months. At worst, they've actually made the situation more dangerous by giving Iranian hardliners exactly what they needed, a perfect excuse to crack down on dissent and rally support around the regime. The Economist is reporting that these strikes may have actually strengthened Iran's authoritarian regime by giving them a clear enemy to point to. Nothing unifies a struggling government like a common enemy, like poor migrant workers. So congratulations, Trump. You just handed Iran's authoritarian leaders their best propaganda victory in years. But here's what makes it a scam. This wasn't some strategic miscalculation. Like the first war in Iraq, and the second war in Iraq, and the war in Afghanistan, this wasn't about keeping Americans safe. This was about money and power, pure and simple. Since 2023, the world's top arms dealers have made over $600 billion in just 2 years. More than half of that money has gone to American and Israeli defense contractors, companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Elbit Systems. These companies aren't just observers watching from the sidelines. They're active participants in a system that profits from chaos, instability, and endless conflict. In fact, defense contractors spend between $30 and $40 million every single year to bribe our politicians to keep the war machine going. That's because every missile, every bombing campaign, every drone strike means more money in their pockets. For example, the bombs Trump dropped on Iran cost $2 or $3 million each, and we dropped 12 to 14 of them. That's nearly $50 million just on bombs. That cost goes up when you factor in the 36-hour-long flight from Missouri where the bombers were based, and the incredible amount of infrastructure and thus money needed to fuel and support them. And that's not even mentioning the cost of the aircraft itself. Every B-2 Spirit stealth bomber costs $2 billion to produce. It's not just that this money could be better spent on necessities like education, housing, and healthcare. It's the total depravity of an industry and economy that's turned human suffering into a billion-dollar business. But here's the thing, it's the working class who pays for these weapons, bombs, and wars. The American people foot the bill. The Iranian people pay with their lives, and the Israeli people live in constant fear. But the defense contractors, they're laughing all the way to the bank. If you needed proof that the capitalist class has different interests than you, look no further. This is what happens when you let capitalism run your foreign policy. War stops being about strategy, diplomacy, or even basic human decency. It becomes about quarterly earnings and shareholder returns. And it's not just Iran. We're seeing the same pattern play out in Ukraine and Gaza, wherever there's conflict. No clear objectives, no exit strategy, no accountability, just more bombs, more arms deals, and more opportunities for the ruling class to get rich off of other people's misery. The timing of these strikes is also conveniently suspicious. While Trump was launching his missiles at Iran, his Republican allies were quietly preparing to gut Medicaid, potentially leaving millions of Americans without health care. Funny how a good old-fashioned bombing campaign can distract from your real agenda, isn't it? This is the oldest trick in the authoritarian playbook. When things get tough at home, start a fight abroad. Trump even accused Obama of doing this back in 2012. When it looked like Obama might lose, Trump predicted he would bomb Iran. He didn't. The bottom line, in this war, the US didn't strike a blow for peace, we struck a blow for profit. The only way this ends is when we stop letting defense contractors write our foreign policy when we start prioritizing human needs over corporate greed, and when we realize that real security comes from diplomacy, not destruction. Until then, we're going to keep seeing these manufactured crises, these convenient distractions, these profitable wars that solve nothing and cost everything. The question is, are we going to keep falling for it? For Notice News, I'm Andrew Springer.